All right, so I'm going to go over a few of the, I think the best 3 licks from that little solo I played at the beginning there. Before I get into the licks, I want to give a big update to my website. I've made some really significant updates to the website in the last few days. The biggest update is that all the black belt lesson videos are now fully interactive. So I have a new plugin on the website, and what this basically allows you to do is for every solo that I put up, you're able to watch the video for the solo in interactive video with tablature. So what that means is that you can, along with the video, see the tab in one window. You can loop sections. So if you want to learn one specific lick out of the solo, you can loop just that section. You can change the speed. You can make it go slower or faster. So it's all in one area. You can listen to the backing track on top of that from this one window. So it's a much better learning experience. It's much better than watching the videos on YouTube and just seeing the tab down at the bottom. It's a fully interactive experience. So huge change to the website. I now have 7 lessons up under the black belt membership videos, much more coming. I just put up one yesterday. I put up one a couple days before that. I have another one coming tomorrow. So continuing to put out a ton of content. So if you haven't checked out the black belt site, please check it out. You can try it out for free for 7 days. It's just getting started. I'm adding a ton of content. So definitely check it out if you're interested and you get the chance. So with that being said, back to this lesson, I'm going to go over a few of what I think are the 3 best licks out of this lesson. If you want the full solo, again, go check it out on the site. But I'm going to break down 3 of, I think, the best licks here, note by note, as I usually do, and let's check them out. So let's break down this lick here. I'll play through it through slow one time and then get into it. So here it is. So this is kind of a pretty straightforward E minor pentatonic lick, but there's it's the kind of lick that kind of rolls over itself, kind of Eric Johnson-ish style. So that's the takeaway I think from this lick is just the pattern that you're using to go down the scale. A lot of pull-offs and a couple economy picks here. So let's break it down. So the first part of this lick, I'll go through the first 6 notes basically. This is really the meat of the lick. So now, couple pull-offs, really basic, just pulling off 3-0, 3-0 on the second or first and second string. And then when I get to the 3rd string and I get to that 2nd fret on the 3rd string, I then go back up to the 2nd string to the 3rd fret. So that's the difficult fingering here. And the difficult picking. So I talk about this a ton in my videos, economy picking. Licks like this are so much easier to play if you actually get the economy picking going. It'd be nice in a perfect world to alternate pick every single note all the time and you only have one style of picking, but it's just the reality that picking certain things is much easier if you use economy picking or different styles of picking. So you have to use the appropriate picking depending on the situation you're dealing with here. So that's the pick. When you go from the 2nd fret on the 3rd string to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, those are 2 downstrokes. So that's the key part of that first lick. That's where you'll get tripped up. So get that down. Now we proceed back down the scale. So really similar. Once we get down to here, we can do another economy pick. So that 2nd fret on the 4th string, going back up to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, we can also economy pick there. It's really easy to spot where the economy picking happens, right? It's always when you're going from a lower string up to a higher string. Anytime you see that, you can throw in the economy pick. Really cool. Now we just proceed down the rest of the E minor pentatonic scale. Really basic. Just pull off on the fourth and fifth string in sixth string. So, and then land on that E note on the second fret on the fourth string. So again, the big takeaway is the economy picking here. If you're having trouble just with that one pick, I would do a really simple exercise just to get that downstroke in good timing. I would just do this for a while. Just getting the timing and the feel of the two downstrokes in a row, really solid. If you can do that one simple picking motion, that's those two downstrokes in a row, it opens up possibilities for licks. You'll be able to play a lot of things that you would not be able to play without that little simple technique. So definitely practice that as much as you can. So let's play this through one more time at a slow speed. Okay, so this is the monster lick here. By far the just technique-wise, the most difficult lick in the solo. It's really fast. The idea behind it is really simple. It's just really fast, and it takes some practice to get that alternate picking technique down. But as far as alternate picking patterns go, this is actually fairly easy. So what I'm going to do first is I'll just break down the pattern. In fact, actually first, let me break down what's going on with the lick first, and then I'll get into the actual pattern. So first off, this lick is obviously very chromatic. There's a lot of passing tones in there, meaning that there's a lot of notes that aren't in a scale. They're notes between notes in a scale. This lick is really still in E minor pentatonic territory. If you look and analyze the lick, it kind of paints the really important notes in the E minor pentatonic scale. So if I just play through the E minor pentatonic scale kind of in the same position that this lick goes through, it would look like this, starting on the E note on the fifth string. So I'm kind of going up diagonally there, right? The lick is basically going through those positions. I'm just adding notes in between to kind of fill out the scale, fill out the notes in between the notes in the scale. So that's basically the skeleton of this lick, is just the E minor pentatonic scale. And in the chromatics is where it gets difficult and where the picking pattern comes in. So now the picking pattern. The picking pattern is this. So really simple. I'm going starting on the lower string, going 3 notes up, then up to the next string, and then back down, climb back down. And then I go 3 and then 3 on the fifth string and the fourth string. So it's like this. It's basically 2 separate patterns of 6 notes. The first one is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the second 6-note pattern is. So that's the basic pattern that I play throughout the entire lick. Those 2 6-note patterns. and together it sounds like this. That's it. That's the entire pattern that plays throughout the entire lick. So if you can just, from the technique side of things, just get that 12 note pattern down, you can play through that entire lick. It'll take some time to do that. If you're just getting into alternate picking and you can't come close to playing this, what I would recommend is you just simplify the lick and first get the right hand down. Just not even going across strings. If you can't play on just one string really smoothly, that's really the first step. You got to get that down before you can start moving between strings and do really complicated licks. Got to get that down. Work that for a while, and then slowly start to move across strings and in different picking different rhythms and such. Maybe sometime down the road, I'll put together a master class on developing technique. I'm still working on my own technique myself. I got a long way to go. So maybe once I'm satisfied with that, I'll do something like that. But for now, that's my basic advice to you. Start off simple, get the right hand down, and then try to slowly start to build these patterns. But this is a great first pattern for crossing strings to get down. It's really pretty basic. It repeats really consistently. The movements aren't that hard. Sometimes when you're going on different patterns between the strings, it gets really tricky. This one isn't that tricky. It's pretty easy. All right, so back to the lick. Let's just go through it now. It's that same 12-note pattern, 2 6-note patterns put together, just a few times up the neck. So it's like this. There's the first one. And then we go to the next position up, starting on the 7th fret on the 4th string here. Same thing. So we got watch that 7th fret on the 4th string gets played twice in a row with different fingers. It's a little bit tricky. So it's because that was the last note on the first pattern and the first note on the next pattern. So all right. So moving up, now we're starting on the 7th fret on the 3rd string, playing that pattern there. It's a little bit different than the other 2 patterns because we're kind of moving up a fret when we get to the next string now. That's the minor 3rd of the E note. Again, we're really moving up the E minor pentatonic scale here. And then up here, we are on the 10th fret now. And then we bend up on the 14th fret on the 1st string. And then we go into other things after that in the solo. Again, if you want to get the whole solo down, check out the full solo on the website. So that's it. That's the entire lick. I hope you got a lot out of that explanation of the technique and the idea behind the lick, and hopefully a little bit on how to develop the technique. So let's play it through one more time at a slow speed. Okay, this next lick is kind of a rhythm style lick. We're just playing in octaves. We're just kind of playing through some octaves there. It's a cool technique, and it's cool to throw rhythm ideas into a solo. It just kind of spices it up and does something a little different. You're not hearing single notes all the time. So really a pretty basic lick, but the difficult part about this and the part to work on is this part at the end where I go from 16th notes where there's 4 strikes between every beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we go from that into 6, into 16th note triplets, and so a slightly different rhythm. So that's the main takeaway from this lesson is this lick right here is moving from this 16th notes to 32nd notes. Being able to do that, being able to transition between rhythms, whether you're picking a single note or whether you're picking chords, is tricky, and it's a really good skill to have. You'll find that being able to play licks, being able to get really comfortable with your right hand, a lot of it comes down to that, to being able to change rhythms with this hand really easily. And you're only able to do that really if you keep your hand really loose. So to develop this lick, what I would basically do is I would just hang on one note and move between different rhythms. I might move between 8th notes, 8th note triplets, then 16th notes, then 16th note triplets. So that might sound something like this. Just if I wanted to get the right hand comfortable, I would go something like this. Really simple exercise, but doing that will really develop your right hand and get you used to changing those rhythms between, changing the rhythms with your right hand. Really, really important. So that's the big takeaway from this lick, is developing that technique. So let's play through this lick once at a really slow speed.